up high with a humble heart, knowing Yah is with me. I won't fall apart. The trials will surely come, and hard times, that's for sure. Steadfast in my faith, I'm standing on His word.
So we have Sister Erica, and she has multiple businesses. One of them being homeschool. She has an expertise in homeschool, and she also helps us prepare healthy meals. And we'll briefly talk about that. But again, of course, our focus is the homeschool. So welcome, Sister Erica. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am shalom, as we would say. So basically, give us a little information about who you are.
Well, my name is Erica Atara Stevens. Some people call me Erica, and some call me Atara. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I homeschooled 4 kids through high school for 10 years. My last one just graduated this past May. All of them graduated with honors, scholarships, the whole 9.
Wow.
I started homeschooling because I didn't like the public school system. So we sort of decided that that's not what we wanted to do. We're originally from Florida.
Okay.
So we moved to Alabama because there was so much violence going on in Florida.
Mhm.
And we wanted to give our kids a environment that they could thrive in and be kids for once, which we're glad we did, because we look back and a lot of their cousins are, in a lot of trouble and just troubled all the way around. So we wanted to make sure that they had at least a foundation that was strong enough that they can combat what this world has to offer, being Black and brown kids. So, so my husband and I moved to Alabama. We stayed there for 9 years, and we raised our kids, and then we allowed them to be kids.
Okay.
And they had everything it has, it had to offer. Many people think homeschooling, you don't have anything because, public school puts it in this nice little package for you. You drop your kids off, we'll educate them, we'll, entertain them. They can, play sports. And it's all this nice little package, which is okay if you want your kid to be more like a machine. If you don't want them to have individuality, be able to make their own decisions, think outside the box, think outside the matrix, like a lot of people like to say.
Right.
Public school does not afford that. And that's something we learned right away. We have a daughter that was very gifted. Well, they wouldn't, because her teacher didn't like her, they wouldn't let her advance. So I, for one, wasn't going to just allow my daughter to be in a box when she was created to be more than that.
Hallelujah. Yes.
So that's what got us started on our journey, because this was a child, even on Saturday morning, she would make her own schoolwork. She loved school. And I just started seeing the light in her just dimming and dimming and dimming. She hated school. It got to the point I was like dragging her out of the car, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Right. And, I think many parents don't realize the dynamics and the psychology behind what they're doing when they send their children into these institutions. Because even if you do like a reflection yourself, if you are having troubles in school, by now as an adult, you actually know why. And your parents didn't really know what was going on. They thought, okay, these people are trained professionals and they are there to nurture and teach your child, when actually that is not why school was created. School was created, like you said, to make them little machines and be able to go into the workplace. And I like to say all the time, we can see that. I was in the grocery store, and you can see these little plaques behind the customer service that says like, what is it? Customer service person of the month. Well, that reminds you of school. Like, you were citizen of the month. You got gold stars for doing things. You got all these little rewards, stickers, and popsicle parties and all that stuff. I see them doing that same stuff in the workplace. So that means that they were gearing you up to be robots, to follow instruction, not think outside the box and do exactly what it is that they told you to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
So
so that, yeah.
praise Yah for you seeing that, because unfortunately, it looks as if we have been put in a, on the hamster wheel. And so as
Mm-hmm.
soon as these children are born, because we are not well, it's just so much like, okay, if you are on this hamster wheel, you and your husband, if you have a husband or if you have a
Mm-hmm.
wife, then you've got these children, then they're put into the school system,
Yep.
and or even the babysitting or daycare system. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
had them for someone else to raise. And
Exactly.
then you wonder why you've lost so much control of them, because that control was lost a long time ago.
You never had it. Yep.
You never had it. Yeah. So praise Yah for you seeing that, because that is a blessing. That is a blessing. Now, can you tell us some of the experiences you actually had as a child growing up that made you like a little insightful?
I noticed, okay, like when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
it became alarmingly obvious to me because I wanted to go into these, they would call them AB classes, which basically you take high school classes. I mean, you take college classes in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so, but the issue I had was that it wasn't as easy to get into those. Even though I tested into them, I was
Mm-hmm.
still hitting this brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents didn't see the value in it
Mm-hmm.
because to them, our ancestors fought for us to be here,
Oh,
not here.
okay.
So I was accused of trying to be like the white folks, and
Mm-hmm.
just because I was not mediocre,
Mm-hmm. Because you wanted to excel.
I wanted to excel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why not take college courses
Mm-hmm.
for free? Why not?
Yes. Why not?
You know what I mean? So it just got to that point. That opened my eyes largely that my parents were very indoctrinated,
Mm-hmm.
and that the system was not set up for somebody like me in this
Mm-hmm.
skin to
Mm-hmm.
do that.
That's true. And you said that was in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that amazing? Because a lot of people across the United States, and I would say even around the world, have the same story.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is the system oppressing you, but your people are oppressing you, because you get made to feel that you are trying to quote act white,
Yep.
or you're trying to do something outside of what is normal. But then when you grow up and you don't have any skills and you can't make any money, you're pressed down even further into poverty.
And I
So,
had no direction. It's
right.
like when I was raised, it was like you don't have the right to color this picture in color. It has to be in black and white because we have
Mm,
to look the part. We have to act the part. You're not
mm-hmm,
allowed to be who you are.
mm,
And I just recently, maybe in the last 2 years, figured out who I am
mm,
and have been acting towards that. But I've been teaching my kids since they were, babies. You be who you are. There is
mm-hmm.
no black and white. You can
Right.
color shades of gray. You can
That's
color
right.
yellow. It's okay.
Right.
Um, because I think a lot of the oppression that we say is around us it's internalized a lot.
Yes, yes, I believe that you're right, and it's perpetuated,
Yes.
and if we don't have ears to hear, and to be called out of that, then we
Mm-hmm.
continue on, and it's a further oppression, because we could look at people today and say, "Wow, that's indoctrination," because they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the understanding that they don't have to be a certain way, but public school, babysitters, and daycare have taught
Mm-hmm.
them that this is the way that they have to be. Now, you've raised your children, and some have gone on to higher heights. What would you say to a person who wants to get started? Like, let's say I'm going to go all the way back to preschool. Let's say I have a preschooler. How would I get started? How would I find the correct curriculum? Would I make it myself, or would I join an online course that's created by the same people that want you indoctrinated? What would I do?
I highly recommend you do not use the oppressor's curriculum.
Okay.
It's easy, but it's not freeing. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, homeschool should be free.
Mm-hmm.
If you're teaching a kindergartner, pre-K, do not try to teach them like public school, where they're
Mm-hmm.
sitting down, because you're going to frustrate yourself, number one. And number
Mm-hmm.
two, they're not going to learn.
Right.
You
Right.
need to space it out, like I have my nephew that's visiting. We do
Okay.
his lessons in 30-minute increments.
There you go.
and we cover this, and then when we come back, we look at that again. He does maybe 2 hours a day. That's it.
That's all he
And
needs.
that's all he needs.
Yeah, but
Sometimes
and
we do an
again,
hour and a half.
we talk about the work week and the hamster wheel. Like
Mm-hmm.
in school, they've got you in school just like it's a work week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got
So
kindergartners that sitting in a chair. And my son, when he was in kindergarten, they were like, "Oh, he's got ODD, oppositional defiant disorder." And I'm like, "No, he don't.
no,
He just wants to be free. He doesn't
no.
want to sit in a chair for 6 hours a day learning his ABCs. He already knows them. He already knows
Yes.
his numbers." And I'm like,
Yes.
"Why am I even bringing him here?"
Exactly. 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 Wow. Well, and that's I've said this many times before. Well, we are very smart people.
Oh
First of all,
yes.
but they don't teach to our learning style.
No, they don't.
Sitting in a chair, raising your hand, getting a hall pass to go to the bathroom. That sounds like some slave papers. I need my slave papers to go to the bathroom.
And all the
Just
way up to
all
high
that.
school, and all the way up
Yeah.
to seniors. The week
Yeah.
that they graduate, they have to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
They have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. I mean, just all these different things that people
Mm-hmm.
don't stop because they don't have time because they're on the hamster wheel to
Yep.
actually break these things down and think about them and think about how
Mm-hmm.
they were damaged and that
Exactly.
it's furthering to damage their children. So it's a perpetual, like generational curse. Honestly, it's just disgusting.
And they did
So,
a survey on that,
uh-huh.
that kids they're at school for 7 hours, but they're
Mhm.
not learning all 7 hours. They
No,
did a survey that said they're only learning 4 hours a day. The rest of
four
the time
hours a
they're
day.
standing, they're waiting, they're being told to go here, there, everywhere. That's what the rest of the time is used for. They're only actually doing planned lessons that are
Mhm.
panned out for them for 4 hours a day.
Well, school is an institution. What else is an
Yeah.
institution? Prison.
Mm-hmm. And that's what
Yeah.
they gearing them
Uh-huh.
up to,
They're in
especially
the line.
ours.
Exactly. Now, so tell us what curriculum you have. I'm pretty sure you use a lot of different curriculum, but like
Yeah.
if you're teaching younger children, what curriculum do you go to? If you're teaching middle schoolers, what curriculum do you use or what process? And then high schoolers, what process?
Okay, so I academically, like I made
Mm-hmm.
sure my kids had a foundation in math
Mm-hmm.
and English
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So I use stuff like ABC Mouse,
Mm-hmm.
Khan Academy,
Mm-hmm.
which Khan Academy is free.
Mm-hmm.
They also have Elephant Learning. And if
Mm-hmm.
you apply, like if you have several kids, they'll actually give you a scholarship where you can do that for free. You
Mm-hmm.
learn math, they learn a whole line of math in like a year. You can do like 3 years in 1 year.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
and it's all through gaming.
Okay.
So, that's another one. There's also Time for Learning. That's another program. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, once they hit middle school and we're done with 8th grade, I
Mm-hmm.
stopped doing like the normal curriculums, where it's math and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we started teaching our kids what they wanted to be.
Mm.
So we went to the college, we found out the courses, we got the books. That's
Mhm.
what they studied during their high school year. So they were
Okay.
able to get college and high school credit at the same time. So
Okay.
when it came time to go to college, they tested out,
Mm.
which saved us
Wow.
money, because remember, that's what I told you about me. I wanted to take those college
Yeah.
courses and they would not let me do it. Well, I made sure my kids got that done.
Wow. Hallelujah for you having the insight and praise Yah for him using that to
Mhm.
have you what I like to say that my ceiling is their floor. Where I leave off, they take off. So whereas
Yes.
you hit the ceiling, they're at that next level taking off. So
Mhm.
you were able to do that by the way that they had oppressed you, so you couldn't do it. Now
Yeah.
tell us what is your son? Your son just graduated, right?
Yes.
What does he want to go to as far as a career field?
Okay, so he had a full ride scholarship here
Mm,
in Arizona.
okay.
Everything paid. They're even gonna give him a laptop, everything.
Mhm.
But he turned all that down. He wants to actually be a professional boxer and
Okay.
fighter.
Okay.
So we have a that's in not Arizona, Atlanta. His name's
Mhm.
Sar.
Okay.
He's actually been training under him for about a year now.
Okay.
And he's gonna go, and Sar's family that's their background. Like his dad was a grandmaster. Like that's what they do.
Wow. Okay.
So, and he also has a security company. So
Okay.
he'll get all that under his rope. But he, because he can always go to college if that's what he want to do. The
Mm-hmm.
main reason why we even applied was more for my family, so they
Mm-hmm.
can see, okay, they did learn something. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
idiots. We didn't sit around eating bonbons all day. They actually did work.
Right.
Because
The
that's what
bonbons
they.
are like, they don't even sell those no more. So I know we're not eating them. Okay. Yeah.
Because we had it rough with my family. Just, like I
Yeah.
told you before about my mom and dad, our ancestors fought for us to be in the system. I said, I'm sure if our ancestors knew the state that our people would be in today, they would not have done that, because it's not at all, I'm sure, what they decided, what they had planned for us, because it's not working.
You know what? I side eye ancestors all the way back to the Bible days because they knew what
Hmm.
this oppression was going to be. And they still chose to be lascivious, crazy folk, and they didn't care what's going to happen to us. So I don't know what to think about the ones that came before us. I have respect,
And that's what I
and
told them.
yeah, oof,
I told my
goodness,
mom, I said, but it also depends on which ancestor you talking about.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because I mean, some of them, I
Yep.
just don't know. But I know that I had a great grandmother that was on her knees praying every
Hmm.
night, and I don't know how she got up from that floor, but she did it every night.
Yep.
So praise Yah for those that decided to be in Him.
Hmm.
But those other ones, we repent for them. Whatever was going
Yeah.
on, we repent. And I
Yep.
thank Him for giving you the knowledge and inspiration for you and your husband to go forward and be what He's called you to be, so that your children can also do the same thing. Now,
Hmm.
you also have a company where you help prep foods. Like, I don't want to misspeak. What does your company do?
It's called Bear Sheet 129. It's off of
Okay.
the word Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
verse 1. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 1, verse 29,
Mm-hmm.
where it talks about the original diet. So basically, we created this vegan plant-based company for one
Mm-hmm.
of our daughters who is a culinary chef.
Okay.
So she does like cooking classes for adults and kids. We
Mm-hmm.
do meal prep consultations. We even
Mm-hmm.
have a cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
We do holistic immune boosters and all of that in
Okay.
that company.
So you have incorporated this company into your homeschooling.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hallelujah.
So
That's wonderful.
so basically, when she decided she wanted to do this, I said, okay, before I go doing anything else, let's
Mm-hmm.
make sure this is what you want to do. And that's what I did with all of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you say you want to do this, but I don't want to be down the line. And
Mm-hmm.
if you decide to go to college, because we
Mm-hmm.
never push college on any of our kids,
Yes.
we wanted to prepare them if that's what they chose.
Mm-hmm.
But I want them to choose what they want to do. I don't want it to be like me where somebody was choosing for me, and when I didn't
Right.
do it, I
Mm-hmm.
got shunned. You
Yeah.
know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to make sure whatever they did
Mm-hmm.
it to the best of their ability, and gave all the glory to Yah, that they were able to
Hallelujah.
do that.
Okay.
So,
So we have people who are listening, and of course, I'm sure that they would like to reach out to you, whether
hmm
it be for homeschooling advice or to purchase, courses and learn how to cook healthy meals.
hmm
So, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
They can go to our website, Bereisheet, BEREISHEET 129.com, or they can also call the business line. It's 480-848-7484.
Okay. Well, hallelujah. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
No, I just want to say, just listen to that inner voice in you that's telling you what you need to do. There's a
Mhm.
lot of times I woke up and I did not know what I was doing,
Right.
where I was going with these kids. I'm like, you gave them to me, y'all. What are we doing here?
Hmm.
And a lot of times I thought I was just left alone. And then lo and behold, he'll send somebody and it's like, oh, you just do this and that and that. And that was
Hmm.
one thing. In homeschooling, you need to create a community.
Hmm.
You need to create a surrounding around you of people
Hmm.
that are like-minded and are on the same path that you are. And
Hmm.
they don't have to be in your town. A lot of my
That's
friends
right.
are online.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
That's
I
important
and
to
I can
know.
call them on the phone and say, "Hey, I'm losing it."
Hmm.
And a
Yes.
lot of times, you know what I mean? So, but it was the best decision we made. It really
Hmm.
was. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again.
Well, I
And
would
we
say yes. Yes, absolutely.
and my
Yes.
mom always say, well, they're not they're not surrounded by their peers. And I'm like, they don't have to be. I put my kids in positions to rule. So I
Yes.
put them in board meetings. where
Yes.
they were handling $1 million deals and
Yes.
learning how to maneuver money. And that was a lesson I didn't have to teach, because there's people around everywhere that your kids can learn from. So
That's right.
don't minimize it.
Right, right.
That's all I
Well,
would say.
we definitely appreciate you and what your family is doing. To Yah be the glory. May He receive it all. Well, praise Yah, everyone listening. And I just thank you for you joining me again. I am your sister SiSi Pruitt, and you are listening to another episode of SiSi on Air, where we like to highlight the greatest Israelite artists in many different ways that maybe you've heard of them and maybe you have not, but we like to bring them to the forefront. This sister that we're bringing on today, she, of course, is Sister Erica, and she is of Bereshit 129. We interviewed her once before, and I think it was about a year ago, but I thought we'd bring her back today to find out what she's been doing, because I'm just blown away. Every time I see her on Facebook, I'm like, wow, this sister does not stop running. Welcome, sister. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. So why don't we reintroduce you to the people that maybe did not see the last broadcast or hear the last broadcast? Talk to us about what your business endeavors entail.
Okay. So I am in Phoenix, Arizona. We have a total of 4 businesses that we operate. One is Bereshit 129, vegan plant-based cuisine and catering. That's the one that takes up most of my time. Where we have published 3 books. I think last time, I think we may have only had 1, maybe 2. So we have 3 books now. The 3rd book just got released about 2 weeks ago, I want to say. And then we have a logistics company, Royal Ace. We have CJMC Enterprises. That's our parent company of all our businesses. And then P31 Academy is my newest one.
Oh my goodness. Let's get in depth. Let's get in depth. Okay, so all we really know is about this catering company, and you have you just gave us a lot. Okay, so let's look numbered. Okay, we got the catering company, that's Bereshit.
And
okay, and then number 2 is what?
Royal Ace Logistics. And then we have CJMC Enterprises. That's our holding firm, that's our parent company. And then P31 Academy, which I'm still working on getting off the ground.
Okay, so we'll go backwards. So P31 Academy, I'm assuming that's something to do with homeschool.
No, so that's actually helping women come up with Plan B. So if you've been in a relationship, you did what everybody, pretty much get, married, have 2.5 kids, get a house, a dog, and live happily ever after. Well, that doesn't work for everybody. So P31 Academy helps with the Plan B, getting them to figure out what their purpose is. Working in that purpose, whatever that means. If they need resources to go to school, we work on networking on that. I've created a huge network over here in Phoenix. So I use a lot of my contacts in getting the help that these women need for them and their kids. And we also help some gentlemen as well. So it's just a way to give back and help those in need. So that's what I do.
Okay, so that one is still being constructed right now, right? Okay, perfect. We can't wait to talk about that, because there's a lot of women in need, a lot of families, I should say, in need, because when you think about it realistically, of course, we want to be homemakers and we want to take care of the home, but we are also helpmeets. So if we can also add to the income that our husbands have, it's going to help us all do better in the long run. And then, of course, I mean, you probably will be helping some women that are not married, because we know in our community, there are a lot of single parents. And like you said, some men too. So this is definitely going to help people just kind of get grounded and figure out where they need to be. So that's a great service. Praise Yah for that.
Yeah, because I started out doing business classes with a group of women. So I've done a little bit of work, but not as depth as I want to, but it'll grow. Yeah, willing, it'll grow.
Yeah, I believe that. That's wonderful. Now, the CJMC holding firm. Talk to us about the holding firm.
So that is our basically our parent company. It holds all of our resources, our financials, and everything for our subsidiaries. So Bearsheet, Royal Ace, and P31 are subsidiaries of that corporation. And
Okay,
that's
so this encompasses everything.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
it basically goes out and gets resources. If we need to get funds for something, it goes out and gets it, and then we do like a agreement to utilize the funds in that account.
Okay. Okay. So
So-
now that's a holding firm. So some of us don't know these terms, or they seem over our head. And I'm talking about me. Um, I'm just being real. I'm here to learn too. So what made you decide to have a holding firm? Because I know I have an LLC, I have a 501c3, but I never thought of putting anything in a holding firm. Like my business that umbrellas everything is
Mhm.
one, and then all the things fall under it. It sounds like it's the same, but you're using this term holding firm. So talk to us about why that is a necessity.
So it's important because people are very sue happy in the world. They'll sue you over anything,
Mhm.
especially if you're doing things that could potentially put you at risk.
Mhm.
LLC is great, but it doesn't really protect you a whole lot
Mhm.
from your personal things. Whereas
Mhm.
a holding firm does no kind of they don't work with the community at all, the outside world. It
Mhm.
only works with its subsidiaries.
Mhm.
So like I have a trailer for my food business.
Mhm.
I have it under my holding firm because if I get in, an accident or something like that, they can't take my trailer because it doesn't belong to me. I'm
Okay.
basically leasing it from my holding firm.
Mhm.
Think of it like a rental house. So
Mhm.
you're renting a house from somebody else. The other person is the holding firm.
Mhm.
So if one of your guests get hurt on that property, you're not a
Mhm.
guest of the holding firm. You're a guest of the person that's renting the house. So
Mhm.
you wouldn't be able to sue for the house. You could only sue for the rental insurance of that person because they invited you into their space. So it's the
Okay.
same thing. The holding firm protects all of our assets. We don't have more than a certain amount of money in the banks. We have insurance, so they'll only be able to sue up to that insurance company amount plus what's in the bank account. That's it. They won't be
Mm.
able to get any of the other assets that we have. Like we're working on with Royal Ace getting trucks, they won't be able to get those
Oh, wow.
because they're all under the holding firm, which does no kind of work with the outside world.
Okay. Wow, that's
So,
amazing. So now if the people who are listening need help to construct a holding firm, do you do that, or do you refer them somewhere?
I can help them. I mean, it's pretty easy. If they're able to form a LLC,
Mhm.
it's a different LLC, but under IRS, you want to put it under, a corporation. So it's just they would own basically your subsidiaries, but they wouldn't be able to be sued because they don't do any work with anybody. So it's just a way, just like think of Walmart. You file at Walmart, you're not going to own Walmart because
No.
Walmart is owned by the parent company.
Right.
Same thing. So you could only sue up to the insurance company of that Walmart, and that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. See, the things that we learn every day, because people want to just jump into business, of course. Now, and sometimes we do have to fly by the seat of our pants, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to start thinking long term. Like, let's just say you are super successful. I might be thinking, like, we'll just talk about food, thinking I'm just going to sell plates out of my window, just
Mm-hmm.
have people come get them. But then what if this thing takes off? And then before you know it, we'll just say sweetie pies. We'll say that, but I mean, that's we'll just say that you are sweetie pies and it really takes off. You definitely want to make sure that you have the proper structure in place
Oh
so
yeah.
that none of these things can overtake you and you're not blindsided or surprised. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And just something simple as having insurance. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't even have that, and it's like
Mhm.
I would be very, very frightened to not have insurance. I mean, because
Right.
it's very cheap. It's
Mhm.
you can get it from between 300 and 500 a year, so it's not
Mhm.
a whole lot of money
Mhm.
just to be covered.
Mhm.
And it's up
Mhm.
to $1 million. So,
Well,
you
why
know,
wouldn't you do that? That's the question,
exactly.
because I mean, there are people that drive around without car insurance. We know that, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy too. But just the simple fact that you can assure your clients that you are insured, licensed,
Mhm.
bonded, and insured, that should give you certain status, just even in your own heart. It's like, well, I know if something happens, because you never know. Let's say we're serving
Exactly.
food and you get the lettuce from Whole Foods and then there's a recall and everybody gets listeria or whatever.
Mhm.
You know, then somebody wants to sue you because they're vomited and having diarrhea. But it's like, wait, I didn't even grow this lettuce myself, but then you served it. So then you're liable, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Anything can happen. So yeah.
Gotta pray over your food too, though, you know, but let's throw that out
I
there.
pray over every plate before it leaves me.
There
I
you go.
figure
I
that.
heard that. And those plates look good. We're gonna get to that in a second. Now, so to number 2, it's Royal Logistics.
Ace, Royal
Royal
Ace
Ace
Logistics.
Logistics. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, what is that one again?
So that's my husband's trucking business. He works
Okay.
with my sons. The A stands for Beer, Caleb, and Aiton, which is their names.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's something he's doing. They transport stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and they help people move, all kind of stuff.
Wow. Okay. So, but you all are, of course, are based out of Arizona.
Mhm.
Okay. So if people want to move, are you contracted with other truckers around the country, or is it, okay, I'm going to drive my truck to you and help you move? How does that work?
We basically come to them and help them move.
Oh, okay. Wow. I
We
wish I
do
would
the
have known that.
packing and all of that,
Yeah.
yeah. And my husband
Okay.
is very, very military background, very specific. So like he will take all day, but your stuff will look immaculate. So
Okay.
he pays very much attention to detail.
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So if they don't want the pack and they just want the moving, you'll come and do that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what a blessing. An Israelite, no, we still say black, moving company, available for our people. That is a blessing. Wow. Okay, we got to get on that. All right. And then of course, down to the original baby that brought us here, which is Bereshit 129. And you know what is so funny? I thought I was just going to be able to type this in and get right to your website. There was another company on here with that name. It was just spelled different, and they're a tea company. Have you run into that before?
I think some people have sent me the link to their page, but I haven't really heard much from them.
Okay, because I was like, okay, I've typed your website in before, and I didn't have that issue. So, how do you protect yourself against things like that, or I guess safeguard yourself against things like that?
Well, I have my name trademark,
Oh,
so
you do. Okay.
yes.
Okay. You have a trademark. That's another thing. So why would you need to have your name trademark? What does that protect you from? What does that get you in actually trademarking? And what is trademarking?
So basically, I've gotten offered so much money for my name from a lot of Jewish groups.
Oh,
Yeah, I've even to a large sums of money for that name. Um,
wow.
and I had to tell them we're not for sale, so run along.
Y'all have bought and stole. Well, I'll say y'all have stole enough from us.
Exactly.
How about that?
I'm
Wow.
like, he was like, well, we could, take it to new heights. I'm like, I don't care if I don't make another dollar, it's not for sale.
Wow. Well, that's a blessing that you were able to do that and say that to them. And like, how often are they calling you?
It was like pretty much every other week for about a year. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. They even wanted me to franchise, and I was like, no, we're not franchising with you guys. I'm good.
Wow. The nerve of them. Wow. That is something that, hey, nothing surprises me at that point. Well, at this point, I should say, but I can see that the blessings are definitely all over what you're doing, because you were not doing all this last time we talked. The thing that sticks out to me concerning the last time we talked was your son. He was going to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he do that, or what did he end up doing?
No, he's into construction. So we're actually buying land. So he's wanting to build all of our houses.
Okay, so he's made a switch.
Yeah.
Well, that's a blessing when you're young and you can make a switch.
Oh yeah, I got one in construction building and one in electrical. And
Okay,
then they're going to work on plumbing next. So yeah, they have
okay.
these free programs here where they pay you to do it. He found it.
Wow.
He's like, this is what we're going to do.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, are you, let's see, you were homeschooling. Are you still homeschooling some children?
No, but I will be next year.
Next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You taking on a class or what are you doing?
No, I'm trying to work on getting Teachable up and running with bare sheet recipes and stuff that
Okay.
people can purchase.
Okay.
I have a food trailer that I'm working on getting wrapped and signing up for different stuff for that. So I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to get
Mhm.
ironed out before next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, goodness gracious, that is a blessing. Let's look at this website. So this, of course, like I said, is Bear Sheet 129. That top dollar label there that the Jewish people want to snap up. It's a beautiful logo there. Shout out to your
Thank you.
logo maker. Was that one of your children?
No, that was actually Israelite that did that
Okay.
for me.
Okay. Well, shout out to who is that person? Let's give him some acknowledgement.
His name's Troy Rush.
Troy Rush. All right.
Mhm.
Well, Troy Rush, we will look you up. That's a blessing. Good job. All right. So vegan, plant-based cuisine and catering, local fresh cuisine for everyone. So of course she's got the shop now button and you got your reviews up here. And let's see, is there a page with, okay, this is products. Let me go to the products here because I pulled up the Facebook as well. It has some beautiful food pictures on there. Okay. So these are your products. You got a cookbook, you got some mugs, just some what they call merch. You got some merchandise on here. Got your merch going. Okay, so you got some elderberry syrup and some fire cider. I just made some of that the other day because my husband drinks that every single day. All right. And then you got the weekly meal prep. All right. So you do
Yep.
meal prep for people, and then you also, I'm sure, do where you send them menus or something like that.
Yeah, so we post up a menu every week and they have till Friday to order and then deliver by Monday.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then since you're in Arizona and you're delivering meals, what is the radius or distance that you will travel?
Pretty much Metro Phoenix.
Okay, Metro Phoenix. Okay. Now, have you partnered with any homeschool groups so they want you to provide the food for them?
Not yet. I basically, because we just got our license, I want to say 6 months ago.
Okay.
So in the last 6 months, I just been swamped, number one.
Right.
Just trying to catch my breath. So I don't try
Right.
to take on too much because
Mhm.
it's just a lot.
Yeah, I
Because
can
we're the
imagine.
only ones in my area that don't use soy and tofu and stuff. So a lot of
Mm.
people are noticing they have allergies. So we get bombarded a lot.
Praise, yeah, you don't use soy or tofu. Now, you don't hear that often because, of course, we become junkies of social media, Instagram and TikTok, where you see people making all this food, and you do see food that looks like I looked at something today. Somebody made something that looked like salmon, and she used a huge block of tofu. And then she dyed it or something like that. And yeah, it definitely looked like salmon, but I'm not really a fan of tofu, whether it be sprouted or whatever. I just think that it may be an issue with that. So I stay away from it. So it's a blessing to see that someone is actually making healthy food that is actually healthy for you.
Oh
So
yeah. Like we
that's
made
good.
salmon crusted Parmesan, I think it was, on our
Mhm.
last meal prep. And we
Okay.
used hearts of palm with that. And then we used
Yeah.
beets for the
Yeah.
coloring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's little things you can do. You don't have to, use tofu. We just have to,
Hmm.
learn how to experiment and see what works and what don't and keep it moving.
Right. And I can tell that you actually enjoy the process. Talk to us
Oh, yeah.
about how you actually got into being who you are today concerning, catering and being a chef.
So I first I was more supporting my daughter who is in culinary school. So I was, just sort of like trying to, figure this out with her and help her
Mhm.
and motivate her, because eventually the plan is to move it on to her,
Mhm.
because homeschooling and teaching is more what I want to do.
Mm.
This cooking is good. I can do it, but it's not really my passion. My passion
Mhm.
is teaching,
Mhm.
which I've learned a lot of teaching through cooking as well.
Mhm.
But I want to build my own school. That's my focus. I even have my own logo and everything already picked out, my mission
Okay.
statement and all of that. So yeah, it's called Left to Horror Academy. So yeah,
Okay. Wow.
that's
Okay. So
where
what ages are you going to be, are you taking students at a location, or are you going to be doing online, or both?
online and in person. And
Okay.
it's pretty much gonna be middle school to high school.
Oh, middle school. See, now that's different. Most people want the little ones.
Yeah, I want the older ones.
Ah, that's a
Because it seems like
blessing.
they get lost in the shuffle a lot. And, they're the ones that are about to go out into the world. So I want to be, that beacon and that mentor that they need before they
Mm.
get there.
Wow. Well, that's a blessing that you're talking about that too, because I was listening to Dr. Shiva, and I actually just was talking to her, and she just allowed, her children to go into school. And I mean, I've been following her for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I like what she said. She said, if you're going to allow your children to do something like this, it's kind of like an experiment. It's good to do it at the middle school level,
Mm-hmm.
because she was saying they don't even really need middle school. High school is where your grades count. So
Yep.
I'm really enjoying her journey that has just started, because she did allow the children to go into the school right now. So I think that that's good, that you want to be a catcher. You want to catch
Mm-hmm.
them, instead of them going out and whatever, parents can actually have you lead the kids in a righteous way versus whatever else goes on the outside. So that's really good.
Yeah, because I,
Um,
I work a lot with those age groups.
mhm.
And like she said, middle school they just sort of get lost. They're just, it's like a filler. There's
Yes.
no real substance. So like with the Kiwanis Club that I'm with, we do a jumpstart event every year that
Okay.
I implemented. And that's where pretty much get in their brain. What do you want to do? We have
Mm.
colleges come, we have high schoolers come. So this year we're gearing it towards 7th graders to 10th graders.
Okay. Seventh
And
graders to 10th graders. Wow.
yeah, so we're doing like vision boards, trying to see what they're thinking. What is your vision for yourself? And then we're putting a budget with it, because we want to make sure it's a realistic, vision that
Hmm.
you can afford.
Hmm.
And then we have them go around to little shops where they, you want a pet, this is how much it's going to cost annually. If you want a house, this is how much it's going to cost. The utility
Hmm.
bill, we have the utility company coming and they're going to give info on that.
Hmm.
Just doing a whole career fair, but it's sort of with a spin on it, sort of get them to understand. And we also have a parent session, so we can
Hmm.
talk to the parents on how to help their student, do different things. And we have big name companies like Microsoft that's coming, and they're going to do a
Mm.
whole segment on their roadblocks and things that parents need to be aware of and stuff like that. So I've been working with, the youth. So I was like, this is where the need is.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of, like, I'm mentoring 3 of our own, Black kids right
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
in the public school. And it breaks my heart, because it's like they're high on, Atara or whatever the ADHD medicine is.
Oh.
They're basically unable to form a sentence. And I'm like, I remember how my kids were when they were in public school. I got all of that out of their system. They were able to function. My kids learned how to make coffee and control their behavior on their own.
Mm. Mm.
It's
Yeah.
possible to do. You just have to know the tools. And I want to be that person to help the parents figure out what those tools are.
Right. And the tools are something other than what the schools tell you, because they want your child sedated.
Yep.
And if your child is sedated, they can't even use their imagination. They become a robot, which is actually what they want. And then they want to be able to get that check by your child
Mm-hmm.
being labeled special needs. And
Yep.
you said that, and I completely forgot about that portion of public school. And I'm convinced that a great majority of our children, both girls and boys, get that label. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it happens at a young stage, and it happens at later stages. But they want to label them because they are creative and they are different. And
Oh, yeah.
the school does not cater to their learning style. So therefore, because you don't fit in this box, then we have to label you this.
Mm-hmm. Pretty
Wow.
much.
Wow.
And they get a check for it. People don't
Yeah.
understand that part too. They get extra funding if they label
Mhm.
your child special needs.
Yes.
So I know when I took my kids out, I called the Department of Education and I said, these 4 have been removed from this district. You don't need to send no money there.
Right.
If you
Uncut the
sending out
check.
check, you sending out
Uncut it.
checks, send it over here.
Uncut the check. Send it to me. I'm teaching them. Yes. I
And
wonder,
they
can
were
you do
upset
that?
with
Can you
me.
tell them?
They were upset because evidently they didn't get that money.
Right, right. And you know, it's crazy because I remember I had the same experience or a similar experience with my son. And they're supposed to send your child, if I'm not mistaken, to a psychiatrist or a psychologist in order to get this label
Mm-hmm.
and to go forward. But I know we just went to the regular pediatrician. He did what he did, and there was the label.
Yeah. I have a friend right now that's suing the school district because they basically have neglected her daughter for years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
and she's like, they're already trying to settle. She said, but I'm not settling because if I settle, the next child is going to happen to again because they're not going to know anything. And I said, and I guarantee you, when it starts getting publicized what you're doing, you're going to find
Yes.
people coming out the woodworks
Woodward. Yes.
with the same issue, and it's going to wind up being a class action suit.
Oh,
Because,
and it should be.
you know, because they label everything under COVID.
Yes. Yes.
You know, it
That's
was
the
COVID, and
excuse.
I'm like, no, you've been doing this. Let's see how far it goes.
You've been doing this. You've been,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yes, I have this again, you know, I make it all personal, but I remember my daughter, because she didn't really talk much. They just had her sitting in a corner, just
Yep.
sitting there, just sitting in the corner, didn't interact with her, nothing. She just sat in the corner. And I remember when I discovered that, I was like, no. But see, I didn't know I could sue. I didn't know I should have sued, you know, and more parents should know that because we tend to think of these schools as
The end all be
end
all.
all. Yeah, like they know just because
Mm-hmm.
they went to school. They know they have no interpersonal skills. They don't know how to work with children. On top of that, they don't know how to work with Black children.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's been going on for decades, for years. It's not going to stop. The only thing that's going to stop it is if we pull our children out of these institutions. And if you decide not to homeschool them yourself, then you've got to get with another group that is already doing that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I've come to the conclusion that there are people that are not going to do it, you know, and they're going to, I'm not going to say excuses because they have reasons to why they can't or won't. They have reasons. But if you can't or you won't, you have to find a better solution outside of the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We have a duty.
I don't even know if I'm in tune with utilizing their services. If you can stay out of their system completely, I think that's probably the best solution.
But see, that's the system. And that's why I tell parents, you need to de-school the most because
Yes.
we've been indoctrinated way longer than our kids have. To the point where we don't know what we should inherently already know. You gave birth to these children. You know what I mean? So there's something in you that should turn on to take care of what needs to be taken care of. And you just got to click whatever that is on.
Yes.
And just do what, and it's not easy. I mean, if it was easy, everybody do
Right.
it. Putting them in school is the easy thing, and then yelling at the teacher because they ain't learning. You know,
Right.
it's like you know, you don't have a dog in the fight, but you do. So we gotta think different. We gotta do different because the next generation, it requires it. It's not, you know, it's not something that, oh, we can, you know, think about it. No, we need to do it.
Yes, and we're long overdue for doing it, if you ask me, because when I think about just all of children, how you see children having difficulties in school, you know, it's just, you look at them as if they are, I'll just say retarded, because I still use that word. Retarded is a word, but you're looking at them as if they're retarded, deficient, like dull of learning. They can't learn, but it's not true. What it is they're not being taught to how they learn. And that is, that's something adults need to own up to, because these children just got here. You have to be the one to decide, okay, how can I do this? And if I can't do that, I need to find somebody that can help me, you know? But that even teachers, they need to do that. They don't do that. They don't do that at all. So therefore the child suffers, and then later on, not confident about learning, not confident about going to school, not confident about reading, not confident about being who they are, in this learning journey,
And my son was so hilarious when he was in school. He was like, Mama, I don't need to learn how to read that. I'm like, oh, really? So how are you going to read it? And this was before computers used to read to you. He said, well, I'm just going to read, scan it into my computer and it's going to read it back to me. I don't need to. This was way before then. So he was like already speaking that dragon system already into, that's what I had to deal with.
Okay. He's like, look, lady, I don't need this. Technology is going to do it for me. Leave me alone.
And he's still that way today. He's just out of the box. His mind just, and it's very colorful. And that I attribute directly to homeschooling, because he was able to think outside the box.
Right.
There was no box given to him.
Yes.
To
Yes.
stay
No
within.
box given.
Yeah. So we've got to get back to that, because our kids they're capable of doing so much more. I see it every single day in these schools that I walk into. And we got to let them do it. They can do it. We just got to let them do it.
They can do it. That is amazing. And I'll tell you something, like what you're doing with the homeschool, and then with the ladies, the women and some men, what is it, P31?
P31 Academy.
Okay. So you're teaching the children, but then you're teaching the adults at the same time. So if you got a whole family under your program, they're going to be very successful.
Oh yeah. There's no choice. You can't, like my friend tell me, you can't hang around you and just be generic, can we? I said, nope. Sorry. We all gonna be great. I'm sorry.
You can't be no name brand. I heard
no off
that.
brands allowed.
I heard that. That is encouraging. And I look at your posts on Facebook, and I just always wonder, who are the people that you actually have around you for encouragement? Because we know, as so blanketed to say we have haters. We know that. I mean, we can look at Israel as a whole. We know that we have people that really don't support us. They look like they do. They look like they want to. But you have that tug and discernment at you, and certain things about people, and you just kind of like, eh. But at this stage of the game, your discernment must be on 20, because I know that you only have certain people around you. One of those people is your husband. So how do you decide who to have in your inner circle?
I battle test them.
Okay.
You can't be in my circle and sit around and do nothing. Like, we all have to be building. We all have to be doing something. Even if you don't know what that something is, I can help you figure it out. But if you sit around after I've already helped you figure it out, then you're not the one.
Wow.
It's just that simple, because I don't have time to hold people. I don't have time to babysit and, oh, why you ain't called me today? I don't. I have a best friend that lives in Florida. We don't talk like probably twice a year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we both busy.
Right.
But we meet up, we talk. It's like we never missed any time.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? So I don't have time to deal with people I just met and I got to handhold you. No, that's not me.
You got
and
some,
if that's
some
what you're
issues
for,
you need to go back and deal with. Yeah, I don't have time to handhold.
Because if you're building, you ain't got time to be on the phone chit-chatting all day long.
You don't.
You know what I mean? So that's
I got to write that down. What do you say?
If you're busy building, you don't have time to be chit-chatting on the phone like all day long. Or on Facebook, or I might post something and then I might not post nothing again for 2-3 days because I'm busy. It's not because I don't have anything to say. I just am utilizing my energy and time elsewhere that's benefit me. And it's going to benefit everybody as a whole, because that's my journey is to create these businesses so Israel has something. Right. We haven't had nothing for years. We think we need to be dependent on these, jobs and all of that. I'm trying to show you that you don't have to.
Right. And not only that, you shouldn't, because, we have a tendency to get hyped up about, stuff that's happened, but we like to keep our toe in the water concerning these things of the world. But what I always say is things have always been difficult for us concerning this life, you know, because we've never had it easy. We've always had to be builders. We've always had to be movers and shakers and hustlers and just make things happen. But oftentimes we forget that there is no white picket fence.
No.
You know, this American dream is not real. But some of us still strive for that. We strive to look like them, and the them that we're looking at is fake. It's not even real for them. And you know that because when things fall apart, they commit suicide.
Oh yeah.
We don't have
my
that
husband
luxury.
that. I have to tell my husband that all the time. I'm like, sometimes you talk like an employee, not a CEO. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, just your mindset. It's a mindset shift that needs to go on. And a lot of people are just not, and I was listening to somebody this morning, and I was like, wow, that's so profound. He was saying basically, you know, some people, you know, you work, you get a check. He said, and that's fine for some people. He said, but when you own a business, you get residuals that can be long-standing in that business that will surpass what you would have gotten working for somebody else for a check.
Absolutely. The check is like a whisper, but when you own a business and the residual income happens, that's like a whole voice. It's like a speech. It's like it just keeps talking. But the whisper, it only goes so far. But that voice, it can move mountains. You know,
right now I'm getting
it opens up other doors.
Yeah, because like right now I'm getting a co-packer and a shipper online. So my meal preps are going to be automated. So I will no longer be the one that's having to do the day-to-day.
Wow.
And then I'm working also on getting some meat alternatives because a lot of people, that's their hang up, the meat.
Yeah.
So getting those and getting those processed and ready to be shipped out. It took me a long time to find a co-packer though that wouldn't put preservatives in my food. That was the main thing.
So when you say a cold packer, you're talking about being something like a Hello Fresh?
Yeah, sort of like them. But I flat out, because that's why I turned down the Flying J and the Pilot deal, because they wanted to put preservatives in there. And the man's like, so you're going to give away this 6-figure, you know, deal for that? I was like, absolutely. I'm not compromising my food.
There you go. For
you to just have it sitting somewhere. It needs to be utilized constantly. So it can sit for a week, you know, in the refrigerator. Why are we having to put preservatives in it?
Right. And because I think there's a lazy factor there. Like people don't want to do their job, so they want to make sure that the preservatives are there so that if they don't get it out on time, it's like, oh, well, but no, my stuff's fresh. You need to get it to the people on time so they can enjoy it. And if you don't do that, then you can pay for it.
Exactly. And you have to order some more.
That's right. And
I said, so that's taking money out of my pocket, you know, because then you wouldn't purchase so often.
Right. Wow.
You see what I mean? So I saw the game being played, so I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and you got to recognize that game ahead of time, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You
really, a lot of people would have jumped on there like, oh,
yeah. Wow.
I'm not doing that.
So what products are you developing currently for the business? You said you're working on a meat product. What does that look like exactly? A meat product. So, okay, because when you say meat product,
I'm talking like meat alternatives. So like oyster mushrooms, jackfruit, stuff like that. The meatballs that I make from lentils, chickpea meatballs, chickpea meatloaf, different stuff that people don't want to make. They just, you know, they're like, I'd rather just purchase it from you instead of, you know, taking a class to learn how to do it myself, which would be a whole lot easier. But, you know, I offer classes. But if you want to purchase it, I mean, I'll sell it to you. So that's what we're doing.
And that's where it is. People want convenience, and sometimes you think you could do this yourself, but they don't want to do it themselves. That's why you have companies like DoorDash, and they'll go to the grocery store for you and all that, because people will pay for convenience, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And
so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Yeah,
so I'm working on that first, and then we'll work on shipping meal preps after that. So
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That is going to be great. Well, so now if people want to get started, and when I say get started, they look at everything that you're doing and they
Mhm.
just they want to be in business and they want to be successful. Where would you tell them to start?
I would start at mastering your craft.
Okay.
Make sure that you have your product down pat. That's what took me a long time because I will not give out a bad product. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing about me that a lot of people, some people hate, but some people love. I'm
Mm-hmm.
slow at pushing stuff out because I want to make sure I have every I dotted, every T crossed. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want anybody feeling slighted. Like I want to make sure you're getting your money's worth and you're getting exactly what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
master your craft would be my first, because a lot of people just throw stuff out and then it's like, okay, it's not consistent. My
Right.
stuff is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I require it. There's
Mm-hmm.
no ands, ifs, or buts,
Mm-hmm.
buts about it. Because
Right.
that's what I move with a spirit of excellence. So it
Right.
is what it is.
Wow.
Um, so doing that first and then making sure you have your customer service down
Mm-hmm.
because that's a big complaint we hear from Black businesses that they're rude, they don't start
Yes.
on time, shop
Yes.
ain't open on time.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you have all of your stuff in a row and have a plan B. If plan A
Right.
don't work, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because I have a lady I'm working with now, her chef walked out. And I'm like, okay, so what's the plan B? Well, her
Oh.
doors are closed.
Oh. Wow. Well, she might have to get in there and be the chef herself.
And I'm like, so we didn't anticipate this. So what are we doing?
Right.
So
Right.
you've gotta have a plan B and be working actively to ensure that that plan B goes into effect immediately after plan A. And then plan C, D, E, however many plans you need to make sure that you feel okay. Like I probably have G plans. 'Cause
Z plans.
I've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G already planned out. If this doesn't work, then go to that and vice versa. So I'm just a planner. I don't leave anything up to chance. I'm very intentional with my moves. So be very intentional. Make sure you master your plan and have your customer service down. Once you
Mm.
have those things, then check your demographics. Make sure that
Mm-hmm.
what you're selling is something that is needed. You got to
Mm.
answer a need, otherwise you won't make a dollar.
Right.
If
Right. It
your
can be
community
cute and
doesn't,
fun to you, but
yep,
if you're not answering a need, what are you
mm-mm,
doing?
yeah. And then ask some people outside of your circle to try your
Mm-hmm.
products.
Mm-hmm.
Not just inside your circle. Like I went to, I had my friend was doing a health meeting or session or something in Alabama. So I was like, well, let me do the food. And she was like, they eat meat. I said, let me do the food. I said, but don't tell them it's vegan. She was like,
Right.
okay. They
Mm.
loved it. And they could not tell it was vegan.
They didn't even know.
No. But I
Mm-hmm.
needed to know that
Mm-hmm.
if my food could par up against meat eaters that eat
Right.
nothing but meat. And that's
Right.
what you got to do. You got to step out of that comfort.
Mm.
You've got to make sure that you're getting your message out and you're getting it out in a way that people going to receive it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And be
Mm-hmm.
okay if you get a bad review. It's like, okay, like I had one lady, she was part of a group that was ordering. So I was talking to two people. I didn't hear from her.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted lime juice in her curry, which I
Mm-hmm.
normally put lime in it, but the one lady said she didn't like the lime, so I didn't put it in there. She was like, I was looking forward to the lime taste. And I was like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna remake it. She was like, you don't have to. I said, oh, no, 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 no. Yes, I do. Every customer will be satisfied. And I remade it and she's like, yeah,
That's what it was.
that's what I was missing.
Oh man, you do have a spirit of excellence. I mean, just for that one person, you
Oh
remade
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, is your family like, how do you make dinner? Like, I mean, it's obvious, like,
Man, whenever I make dinner, it's like they want the same thing 2 days in a row. Like I made the chickpea soup the other day. We done
yes.
had chickpea soup 2 days in a row. Like I made it
Okay.
again yesterday.
Mm,
But I mean, my daughter, Malia, Chef Miriam, she, cooks
mm,
too. So it's just, we all get in the kitchen. We all have a part. Like Jordan, she makes the dessert. She helps me with the desserts a lot. So everybody has a part to play.
Wow. So, but it's all surrounded around food, it seems, because that's what y'all do. You do food and then everything else is there, but the
Yep.
food is the foundation.
Oh yeah. And we enjoy
Wow.
it. We talking, we listening to music, laughing. So it's like our
Mhm.
family time.
Wow, that is a blessing. Well, we definitely look forward to supporting everything that you're doing. And you're in Arizona. So if you all are listening and you're in Arizona and you would like to reach a sister, definitely do so that you can get the experience of the food. And also, if you're interested in being an entrepreneur, I'm going to make sure that she lets you know how to reach out to her if you're interested in any of the products that we talked about. And you also must make sure that you go to her website and just check out everything that's going on. So sis, let them know how they can reach out to you and how they can look at your different platforms and just kind of have a conversation with you if they're interested in what we're talking about.
So you can go to cjmcentholdings.com. That has all of 4 of the businesses on there, or you can reach me directly at 480-848-7484. And then you can also go to bearsheet129.com and set up for a consult, and I can do a consult as well and schedule it that way.
Wow. Okay. And for your consultations, do you do that through Zoom or is it just the regular phone? What do you do?
Whatever the preference is. Some people don't like to be on camera, so I just, you know, it's whatever the client needs, and because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to help them, not, you know, not trying to shame anybody, or, you know, a lot of people like, I don't like how I look. Well, you know, we'll just
Right.
talk on the phone, or the
Right.
camera's off. It doesn't matter.
Right. Just make them comfortable.
Yeah. So we
Perfect.
can
All
get
right.
to the bottom of what's going on.
Okay. Okay. Well, we get that. And that confidence will come out once they start getting those ideas going, I bet.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, what a blessing. So do you have any events that are coming up that people can visit, maybe, you think?
So I have one this coming Friday. I'm going to be at the First Friday in Goodyear. And then I'm also working on a black market here in Phoenix. It's called A City and Marketplace.
Okay.
It's going to be in the Goodyear area as well, where we'll have black businesses come and share with the community what they have to offer. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be on my website too.
Wow, what a blessing. Well, we want to thank you, sis, for coming out and joining us and having this conversation. I've been inspired. I hope all you that are listening have been inspired. In case you didn't know, she specializes in vegan meals. You need to come off the meat. It is scriptural to come off the meat. Like, we make excuses, but remember how we thought about our mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, you know, how we've tried to talk to them about coming off of pork. It's the same thing. You need to take that step and just completely come off the meat. It is scriptural. And the sister can talk to you about it. So we want to make sure that you have that information. We want to read our scripture to you. It is Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. I'm your sister SiSi. This has been SiSi on Air. Make sure that you listen to our brand new radio station called PQLR1 Radio, where Yah is first. We play all of the Israelite artists that you may not have heard of. Some you may have, but some you may not have. Just tune in. You can download the Android app to your phone. Apple will be coming really soon. But just go to the website, PQLR1 Radio, and you can listen to the wonderful sounds that we have available to you. Again, I'm your sister SiSi. We will talk to you again very soon. Be blessed, and we thank you for joining us.